Tonight, a stark warning that artificial intelligence could lead to the extinction of humanity should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war.
Okay, so let's talk about AI. It's been on everyone's minds lately. It's been all over our feeds on social media, and it may be the downfall of us all. So that's super fun. Okay. So let's talk about it. Hello friends, and my name is Nathaniel Crawford. I'm a Chicago-based food, product, and lifestyle photographer, photo educator, and person who stutters. And so today, we are going to see if AI is able to take better food images than, well, me, a real-life human person. Am I doing the Lord's work well? Not all heroes wear capes.
Snot girl, I think you dropped something. My jaw.
So what is AI?
AI is defined as a machine's ability to perform a task that would have previously required human intelligence, aka the robots will take over the human race in due time. T-E-T-E.
So when we talk about AI, there are a lot of different types. But for this video, we're going to focus on one in particular, and that is generative AI. Generative AI is what it sounds like, where it creates a wide variety of data, such as images, video, audio, text, and 3D models. It does this by learning patterns from existing data and then using said knowledge to generate new and unique outputs. So what that boils down to is this. You write a command and the program will produce a piece of creative work. Programs like DALL-E 2, Midjourney, and Adobe Firefly are all examples of this type of AI. And naturally, many creatives are terrified of this particular AI development, as it may have the potential to take away jobs as well as end entire industries. Everything is going great. So as someone who has been in the photo industry for nearly a decade, which feels like a lifetime, I'm eager to explore AI. I'm eager to see all the programs there are out there. I am excited to sort of dive into this very new and scary world. I think at the end of the day, I'm most curious to know of how the AI will actually create the artwork and how it looks compared to a pro. So let's dive in. Let's see how it goes. We're gonna dive in. Woo! So my plan was very simple. In order to best compare not only AI to a human, but also to see how each AI tool performed against each other, I needed to come up with specific photo prompts that both I and the AI could use to create our images. Now for this, I'm using a program that you may have heard of called ChatGPT, and which is a language-based AI tool that can answer various questions, assist in tasks, and basically help write anything you want. And so I started off first by giving the AI some general overview of what I was trying to do, as well as any questions it had for me in order to write a stronger prompt. Didn't take too long to answer these, along with giving it some added details about what I envisioned for each image. My goal here was to create 3 unique prompts. Prompt 1 was to feature a single layer chocolate cake. My goal was a chocolate explosion of a cake. Prompt 2 was to feature a drink, which will be an iced latte. More on that in a minute. And of course, our third and final prompt is going to be a beautiful summer salad. I came across this Instagram account where she creates all these incredible salads. I mean, come on. Look at these, all look stunning. How could I not use this as inspiration? It would be a crime not to. I wanted to choose a salad that was complex enough to potentially throw the AI off my tracks. I was being a sneaky little minx. And now I did have to make a specific pit stop at the mecca for us food photographers. For our latte photo, I was inspired by this TikTok and it looked so delicious. When I saw these cups, I knew I had to use them. And then I found these other ones that I also really liked, and I became torn between both options. So, long story short, bought both. I couldn't decide. So I just bought both. You know what I say? I say that it is an expense. It is a business expense. That's right, at Crate and Barrel.
Just buy things for yourself and write them off.
Hello. The first step is to bake our cake. I saw a TikTok and it was where this AI actually created this recipe for a Pepsi cake. But this seems a little different. At first glance, I'm a tad nervous because it calls for a blender, which I don't think that's right. So not off to a great start. Let's see how this goes. So, update time. How do I say this? This cake was trash. Words cannot describe how horrible this cake was. It rose up, but then collapsed in on itself due to the lack of flour.
So when you go around to touch, there's just completely different, like this is firmer, and then this has like, can collapse in on itself. This is so freaking, oh, there's like, oh my God.
It's kind of like every piece is a new experience.
Every section baked its own way, and I don't get it.
And the texture was a really squishy pancake, and it smelled like fish. So not a great description for cake. And so because I expected this type of outcome to happen, so I made a chocolate cake from King Arthur flour instead. Alrighty, so while I take these photos, let's talk a bit about my thoughts on AI, because oh man, do I have thoughts. My first initial feelings are, like all of us, I'm scared. When it comes to AI, I'm fearful for what the future holds. How will it be used? Will it truly take away jobs, not only for myself, but for the many other creatives in a variety of industries? Is all AI bad? Is any of it good? In the words of Katy Perry, will we all be chained to the rhythm or slaves to our man-made machines? It leaves me asking a lot of questions with little to no security in the answers. Like many artists, we have spent years building and learning up our craft. And so to have these pieces of technology come along and sabotage that is terrifying and frightening and frankly frustrating, and makes us feel powerless to the inevitable. And I've seen a lot of photographers not take the growing threat of AI as seriously as I think they should be. Because generative AI is technology that is designed to always be learning and always improving. And so the longer it spends creating and improving, the more accurate the art it creates will become. And with all this doom and gloom, I do think there are pieces of hope to think about as we talk more about the future of AI. Yes, the AI can take over online tasks, but authenticity and ethicality are huge issues for brands, as well as who holds the rights to all these images. In my opinion, I think we're going to see far more common conversations around the copyright and ethics side of AI, and how all that comes into play as the AI grows, along with potential legislation to protect creatives. There are some really amazing AI tools out there that we as artists are able to use to save time and money and energy. It's something that can truly help us, but also harm us as well. So it really is a double-edged sword now, isn't it? My only hope is that we as humans stand up for other humans, and we fight, and we really encourage human-crafted art. That's the only way that we're going to survive and thrive through this. Although maybe all these fears are for naught, if the AI is unable to make better art than a human being. So we are all done with our photo shoots. I have spent time editing all 3 images, and I'm really pleased with how everything turned out. I think they look fantastic, and I'm eager to see how they compare to AI. Hello, an editing Nate here. One thing I learned about each program is that both DALL-E 2 and Midjourney both cost money. It seems like the only free one was Firefly in beta. Also, I learned the prompts I had AI write for me were way too long for any of the programs. I'm sorry, what? So all that time and energy for just me, the human, to have to go in and rewrite every prompt? And finally, as I was working with Adobe Firefly, I got this pop-up that said, content credentials will be included, which upon further inspection essentially gives the full rights to all the artwork created to the AI. Just some things to think about. So the AI is officially done, and we have our images to finally compare now. So am I a tad nervous to see these images? I am worried that these images will be better than what I am able to make, and this video will take a dark turn. So let's first take a look at my image for our chocolate cake. So I wanted something that really invoked a sense of joy in life, and so we have the chocolate cake here that's homemade. We have these sprinkles on top, and I wanted to really bring about color here. It's easy for things to get lost and not really stand out. And so I wanted a way where we're able to make the cake shine, but also allow other colors and textures to really bring home that story as well. And this human element as an option, I like this because it sort of leads us into the hero of her shot, which I appreciate. Now let's take a look at the first one from Dolly 2. Oh my. Okay. I told each program to do a yellow background, and I'm only seeing this one only has one background that's even close to yellow. These are not good. This is, oh wow. Okay, off to a rough start, AI. I mean, I love the amount of sprinkles, but yeah, not loving that. Now let's look at the images for Midjourney. Okay, see, I like how clean everything looks. I like the amount of color and props and textures. I really enjoy the depth of field on a lot of these. Maybe feels like a lot. Food styling is actually pretty good on a lot of these. There's some where I'm like, that's a bold choice. They're not terrible. I think there's some elements, especially like the forks and like other knives here that like doesn't look perfect. So, and then let's take a look now at Adobe Firefly. Oh wow, okay. So these images actually are really fun. I love the fallen candy here. I love the options of like the various layers. We see good texture. And this program, honestly, I think is one of the first ones to get the texture of the cake pretty perfect to what we sort of see. But honestly, like it's the first set of images that have a yellow background, finally. And here are those images compared to mine. Alrighty, now let's on to our latte photo. So here is my image. Ironically enough, I didn't realize as I was planning this shot, but as I was shooting, I was like, oh, this looks like a Starbucks ad. These colors are Starbucks. I love the hard light. I love the glassware. And then let's look at Dolly 2 on this one. Again, just like in these ones, I feel like if this was in like a really bad 70s style cookbook, yeah, that makes sense. But this is not what I envisioned. I think, you know, I like how they got the cocoa powder on there. I like the various angles. These aren't the best. Next, let's go to Midjourney, which these images, I would say, of the latte images thus far, I love the hard light. I love the gradient in the backgrounds as well. I love that sort of like shining down light. It's like, oh. I also love how each image has its own sort of approach. You know, we have one on a box. We have one where cocoa is spilled on the side. We have some greenery as well. That's really fun. So this is actually a really interesting approach. I like these ones a lot. Let's go to Adobe Firefly. So these ones, I will say, I'm not a huge fan of. I think it's the propping. I think that's the issue. I don't love how the propping looks. The scenes kind of look dirty. The food styling isn't the best. It kind of leans into more fake. And here are all of those latte photos again. Alrighty, we are on to our last image, and it is our summer salad. Props to the inspo image because the food styling and like the food prep, applause. Just so good. So let's look at my image. So my goal here was to really lean into more of like the crate and barrel style here. So very bright, very light. So let's take a look at Dolly 2 and see what she did. Okay, so these aren't bad. They're just, Dolly 2 to me performs like someone who is brand new in the industry, and I mean like their first month or two. Forkware, again, the plates and the forks just like don't ever mesh up really well, and it looks fake, right? It looks like not real art. With Dolly 2, just not great. So we're gonna move on there. And Midjourney here. So these ones I really enjoy. I think the style is really fun. I love that dramatic lighting. I think I asked for soft lighting, so middle ground between soft and light, but what have you. Honestly, solid shots. And we are on to our final one, and that is Adobe Firefly. So let's take a look. These aren't a bad place to start. The lighting is soft, the salads kind of boring. I don't love how the salads look. Again, I wish they would be a little bit more fun and vibrant and interesting. Here are all those images again, mine as well as the AI for the summer salads. And now it's time to have some final thoughts. Alrighty, so let's debrief, shall we? So what have we learned? AI is complicated and not perfect, like any artist. I think that this type of AI is going to ruin our industry. Is it going to run artists out? As of now, I don't think so, but the issue is the big but. The big but. The big but. So close, just Nate, please. So what are the pros and cons of AI? I think if the end goal is to use it as like a mood board to help build out images for a brand or for a pitch deck, that's perfect. And if I'm being honest, time saved is the biggest one. It took me about a half an hour to make all these images from start to finish, which is a huge plus. Though at what cost? Because the cons are, these images aren't very good. There are serious issues with every image that needs changes. Then on top of all that, all but one of these programs costs actual money. And then you have to write out each and every photo prompt in such a specific way in order to get the output that you want. It's so time consuming and tedious. As an overall, I felt the AI images lacked any feeling or emotion. It was just a cup of coffee or a salad on a plate, nothing more. It lacked human expression. They all just felt cold. And if the goal of the brands who we shoot for and work with are trying to sell a feeling through a product or service, these images are just not going to accomplish that. So I think the moral of the story here is that AI is here, it's here to stay, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And I think we as artists need to understand AI, its pros and cons, and then work to be better and work to always provide value for not only the brands that we shoot for, but for ourselves. There is a joy in the art that we make, and there's a joy in that human experience around food and how we make art and why we make art, especially around food. And so I know it's scary. I know it can be a lot to sort of deal with in the fear of the unknown, but just know that, do our best. And all we can do is just create beautiful work and keep going. So that's it. Subscribe if you like, comment if you're nasty. And until we speak again, shine on.
Goodbye, little hand and whisper so long, dearie. You ain't gonna see me anymore.